Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel, welcome to this video. This video will be a project where we are going to see how to recreate this web page. It's a video that doesn't require any particular previous knowledge, of course some HTML and CSS, but it's for beginner, and I recommend to watch it even if you are a little more experienced, because we are going to cover some topics regarding best practices of how to write code cleaner and more concise. So it's both for a beginner audience and an intermediate audience. Anyway, let's get started. We create a new folder on the desktop. Okay, so let's see which are the first step to do. It's very important to start in the right way so that we don't confuse ourselves or have to tidy up the code for no reasons. Let's see how the web page is composed. Clearly there are three elements, three sections. The header section up here, the navbar, and the main container, which contains two sections in our case. Okay, so let's write this down into our HTML. We have a header, a navbar, a main that contains two sections. Okay, I think it's very important to start with this kind of organization. Then of course we will need to link our style.css, and we create our style.css. Okay, and in our style.css I am going to create a section for the general settings, a section for the header, navbar, and we can call it main. The UI designer call it hero, is the same. The hero section because it's the what tells more about the what we want to tell in our web page. Anyway, okay, so the first thing that we want, theoretically, let's start by writing the skeleton and giving our web page this text so we can visualize it better. So the header has an h1 which is written welcome to this fake tech conference, and the second, and there is an h, we can say yes, an h, let's say h3, because probably there will be some h2 that contains the ultimate technology and programming conference. In the navbar there are a list of links. One is about, okay, the last section, which is the more complex, we have two sections, which both has an h2, which is the first one about the event, I think, and also have a paragraph The second section have an h2 and have a table. What is a table? Let's figure it out now. Why not? We could generally, using HTML and CSS, we create tables in two ways. Or we use the grid CSS property and we use it when we need to create complicated tables that contains images as well as text, something more complicated that we have now. Right now we don't need a grid element, CSS element. It would just make things complicated. We need a table element. Inside a table element, we specify table row. We have 3 table row. The first table row contains at the table head. We have 3 table head and then the table body. Now I just copy and stop and pick the code, otherwise I don't finish. Okay, so we now have a table that has 3 table header and 2 other rows, which are the table content, table body. Let's see the result in HTML. Okay, so this is the skeleton, and as you can see, it is like this one, but we need to give it, of course, all the style, and that's the job for today. Okay, So as we can see, we have 3 parts inside our web page: the header, the navbar, and the main. And in our CSS, is vital that we start organizing our styling based on this 3 section, so that if we want to target the header, we are going to write our code inside this imaginary section that we created, that gives us the order, so that once we go back to watch the code after months, or somebody else has to watch the code after and he didn't write it, he has to be able to understand what we did. That's vital in order to make our project scalable and understandable. So the first thing that we might do in larger project is to define general settings for our borders, etc. Right now we are going to skip this part and start really targeting the header and etc. Actually, I don't even want to target one single part. We are going to target all of them one by one. I want to give my header, for example, an ID of head. No, in this case is useless because I can just write the header, but in a bigger project you will need to give it an ID in order to target it better. So we fake that this is necessary, and as well for the navbar. Okay, so here we are targeting our 3 elements, and the first thing that I want to do is to give them a height, because we both a width. First of all, maybe we will change it. Okay, doesn't matter. A width that is 100 viewport width for both the navigation bar and the head, because we have seen that this is the dimension of our 2 elements. And actually the hero is different, and okay, let's already do it. Has probably a width of 75 viewport width. I don't know, we will change it, but let's give it to him. So we give a dimension to our project, and also we give it a height of 25 viewport width. Maybe it's 20 viewport width. Is not important. Viewport height is not important. That the values that I'm giving now are right, correct. The important is that we define values, then we will change it according to what we want, maybe even delete it, I don't know. Okay, so little parenthesis, this is a relative measure. We can use absolute measures, like for example pixels are absolute measures, or others there are centimeters, inch. It doesn't really matter because they are not really used, because absolute measures doesn't they don't create a responsive design. So once we want to view our page inside a phone, it doesn't view well. I want to add that we have the possibility that there are relative measures, which are like viewport width, which are percentage, rem. I don't want to make a lesson about it. The last possibility that we have, which is actually the most correct and complicated also, is to use calc to mix the absolute and relative measures to create, in order to create best responsive design. End of the parenthesis. We keep going. The first thing that I want to do now, I generated in the box a spacings, which are our element, and I want to give them a border, which we are going to delete it because there is no border truly. But if I give a border to all of them and I save, as you can see now, we can see what do we have. We can see that is not correct, but we can see it. Nice. Is not correct because we want this to be different, to be centered, and to be centered at the center, and to divide our two sections. And is what we are going to do now. So let's see what we can do. Okay, let's discuss what I did so far. First of all, I removed the width of the hero, which was wrong, because it was is not the hero, the main. This is the main tag that has to delimit the width, but is the section itself that has to delimit its own width. So I took off the width and I gave it a width of 100%, which means that he has the whole width of the body. Second, I use the display flex property. I don't think that little parentheses, display flex and grids are two properties of CSS that are very useful to display our content. The flexbox are used when you have one row or one column. The grids when you have multiple rows or multiple columns. In our case, we have one row, one column. So we use flexbox. We could maybe we could even use something else, but we don't care. It's working fine, and that's what we need. So I give it the first element, an align self of center, a width of 50%. Now I want to remove the border from here and give it to the two different elements, because that's what we want to visualize. And that's better. That's better. I ask you, please remember to always target the elements, even though we could target it directly. Please use the child selector in order to target it. As you can see here, I used the child selection, the major sign, to because it makes the things more readable. Because once people come here and reads it, it says immediately, okay, first is an element that is inside hero. For sure, because it's targeting it like this. So it's more readable, and it's also increase the selector specificity, which is important as well. Okay. Right now, I don't really want to focus on how to space those two things, but we can. No, okay, let's do it. We will leave the alignment of these things later. Let's space these two so we can really visualize that everything is working fine. Actually, we can do it because it's very simple. We can just go to the first. In one line, we will be done. We give it a margin. Margin is a shortcut actually to margin top, bottom, left and right. So the first element is top, and this top, bottom, and the second is left and right. If we specify for different values, it's different, but in this case 100 pixels is top and bottom. And so, bam, we have our content spaced, is too much spaced, and of course we are not going to use an absolute value, but a relative one. But now, for now, at least we can visualize it and see that everything is working correctly. Now let's go back. We go back to our header. We go back to our header and start start displaying what we need in order to make it look like this one. So we need it to be at the center. We need to change the background, the text, even the font family theoretically, but it doesn't really matter. The most important, we need to target the colors, the background colors, and the alignment. So in order to align all our text at the center, we don't really need to target each different element, each different text. We can use a general settings. We target the body, and here we are going to give it a background color because I know that it's gray. We have seen it, and we give it a text align of center and a width, even though probably is useless, but it doesn't matter, it will not hurt anybody. And as you can see, all the elements are now at the center of the page. Nice. Then here we just need to give it a background color of green, and a color of white. So as you can see, it's very simple. Cioè, you could do it in 20 minutes. You create this kind of web page. You don't need to do so complicated things. And that's it. I want to make a little parenthesis. Of course, this is not correct. I mean, if you really are creating a web page, you probably want to be more specific when you choose the colors that you are going to insert. It doesn't matter at this stage. What I like to do is to break down the development practice into 3 steps. First, we generate the HTML and we gave it spacings like we have already did, and now we are starting to give it the style and to be sure that we are able to respect all the different tiny constraints that we have. For example, to align the text to the center, to give this even this distribution, etc., etc. Last, we are going to target each different narrow mistakes that we have, narrow mistakes or changes that we want to make. For example, I want to change the font family. Maybe I don't even do it in this video, but I want to change the font family. At last, I go to search for the font families and I look what's better for the font family. I change the green into a better green that is better to our web page, etc., etc. This is my workflow. Now we did the header and we pass to the navigation. Our navigation bar is composed. The navigation is the nav bar, and the A are a row, an imaginary row. So we can use the display flex. Is appropriate to use the display flex. And now it's the same. Maybe it has gone back to the lateral part because it's not respecting anymore the box model. Anyway, we are going to target a navigation A, and we use actually align self, not text align, for a reason that they are slightly different. And now is centered vertically, and then we can simply use, if that's enough for our eyes, flex grow of 1, and that's it. I think that's okay. Not bad, not bad. We give our navigation bar little parenthesis. Flex grow is an attribute that we can give to every element that is part of a flex container. We generated a flex container as the navigation bar. Our navigation bar is a flex container, so our A can have this flex properties: flex wrap, flex grow, flex shrink, flex basis, and flex flow. Anyway, there is a shortcut to write it more fast, which is just to create flex. But right now I don't need. Maybe I need it, but at this beginning stage of the development, I just want to see that the things are displaying in the right with the right spacing. Flex grow allows me to give it a number like 1, and so all the different elements are displaying evenly in the page. I could even give it a different value. For example, I could give it, let's say that I give it 500 pixels for a second. Is not really, it doesn't matter. I could target each element, each A, specifically, and give it a flex grow of an absolute position, and it would be respected. You can give it a try, but now I don't want to waste too much time. We can just move on and give this a background color. A background color of black. If you find some of the topics, attributes that I use somehow interesting, for example, this flex grow that I don't have the time to explain, or the flex box, or the grid, or table, I don't know, I suggest you to stop the video maybe and watch another video somewhere else where it explains you those things, because this video is meant to be a project, so I don't really stop and talk about anything in particular. Anyway, I give it a background color of black. The navigation, the A, need to have a text decoration of none. Okay, I removed the underline. It needs a color of white, I think. Yes, I need a color of white, a better font size. Now I'm using a RAM unit. One RAM is 16 pixel almost every time, but because it takes the default setting, which is 16 pixel generally, or even different if you have changed it. And so now I'm doing 16 pixel plus multiplied by 1.4. This is a relative value, so it's correct to be used. Font weight bold. Okay, maybe we didn't. Maybe font weight is not bold. Okay, I think that's what I did when I was writing this page. The height is too big, I know it. Let's don't really care about it too much right now, but we will fix it. Let's not care about it too much and move on, because we actually now have completed the raw styling of the A. That's I know that you see that here there are some borders. We are going to address this issue. I didn't forget it. Just leave it as I said. We first make all the rough changes. So now I want to see that I style all this good. Then we address the small issues, and we are going to address that issue as well in the second part of the video. Now we have our hero section. So we have our hero, which actually is not really important, because yes, the hero doesn't really work well. We need to first of all, here we use a background color of white, I remember. And then we need to be even more specific here. No, we don't need to be more specific. We need these two texts, both of them, fortunately, to align at the start. So we can come here and use text align start, and it will be done, as we can see. This has to be of a color of blue, and that's it. Nothing else. Okay, I want to do a little change that I think you would appreciate. I think I didn't do it here, but I believe that this space between the two is a little too big. And we can change it. Don't think that we cannot change it. Right now the margin between the two, the padding, I think, not the margin, is 0. So if I give it a padding bottom, a margin or padding, I'm not sure, 20 pixels. Okay, it becomes even larger, of course, but maybe you don't know that we can give negative values. No, it's not working. As you can see, with negative values, we can diminish the spacing around the elements. Maybe you didn't know it, or maybe you did. Anyway, we can do it. Now is too much, of course, but minus 5 pixel, and I think is better. Or maybe not, it doesn't matter. I wanted to show you this. Most important, maybe we need to give it here a margin left for really small changes. We can use absolute values. You shouldn't worry too much about using them. Because like with this one, as you can see, is barely visible, but it has to be done. You can use absolute values in the sense that it will not affect anything for real. In the phone, it will display it exactly that is this. It will not cause any problems, don't worry. Okay, so we did this, and now we target the second element that we have here, and the most difficult, the most important thing to do, the most technical thing to do, that is not really styling, is to align our table at the center. The question is why our table didn't follow the text align center of the whole body, because the table is not text. Text align works on text. So all the text that was inside our page has got aligned to the center. But if there was a div here, a square here, and we say text align center, the div will not go at the center because it's a div, it's not a paragraph. So that's how it worked for the table. We have to figure out how to make it go at the center, probably using the flexbox, because here we have an h2 and a table. We can try to use some some strange values, but probably it will not work. A possibility that sometimes works and is very simple. The problem is that sometimes it doesn't work, but you can give it a try, is to use margin 0 auto. Just write it and see the result, and it worked. Fantastic. I don't know why it worked, and probably is not really the correct answer, but sometimes using margin 0 auto allows you to center the element that you want fast and quick, without using the display flex. But now the problem is that my table is not stretched, so I don't really know how to make it stretched without using the display flex. So I am going to use the display flex at the level of the second section. So now I'm targeting this section. It's written second, but this is a section. I display flex and remove this, and now we will see probably a mess. Yes. And the workflow of Flexbox is always the same. We give it a flex direction of column, and that's it. Why? Yeah, because now it's on the columns and the content is stretched along the main axis of the Flexbox, but these are technicalities that we don't really have to know. So here I don't really even need to target the table. We can target the H2 actually, and give it a text align of start. We give it a text align of start, a color of blue, and here a background color of white. Okay, okay, let's see the differences up to now. There are a few differences, and I want to address them to say which are all of them one by one, but we will do it in the second part of the video. First is these borders. They are respected here, and that's not irrelevant. It's very relevant. And second, we have this border box shadow that is displayed here, that we have to change. So this box shadow, which will be quite easy, and also the different margins. We are going to adjust the different margins. This has a background, but that's very simple. So we just need to address this issue and give it a little of styling. And we are going to do it in the next video. Okay, so let's finish this video addressing the issues that we have found before. Let's start with the simple things. I already thought about the values for margin and padding for the two sections, because is like this is faster, otherwise we waste time. And I want to paste it inside the DOM, so we can visualize the how they work. And even you can see that the padding top, I added a little padding. Padding left removes that space. Padding bottom and margin bottom. So you can see, for example, padding bottom. Padding is giving space within the content, and margin bottom is changing the space between the two elements. Also, I want to say that margin and padding works like this because we are using the content box model. We didn't talk about it many times at the beginning of style.css. In some projects, you will see that you will see something like this. Actually, it will be even more complicated because generally when you do something like this, you have to address also the pseudo element. But the point is that in this way you are making you are changing the way the padding and margin are calculated. And we didn't do it, so I didn't mention it, but if you are asking yourself what is this, maybe you should have a look at it. But let's move on. I pick and paste the two values that I have here, so we can see the result. I still didn't talk about the drop shadow. There is nothing to talk about, in the sense that there will be, of course, there are a lot of possibilities to change the drop shadows as it is. You can go and check it out. This is not the point. As anyway, now you can see that our margins are doing their work. Then we have to address the issues here, which is very simple. As we did here, that I made in the general setting, I was targeting the all elements. I can target, for example, the body or maybe even star. For example, I want to give the all elements a margin of 0. This is what will fix the problem. So at the beginning, I thought to do like this, just to show you. And okay, maybe I should add pixels, and it will fix the problem. Okay, it has fixed the problem, but it has caused other problems because it has applied this rule to all the elements. That's not what we wanted. We want to apply this rule, this specific rule, to the right elements, and we can do it by targeting the body. So pay attention when you are targeting the star. It doesn't always do what we want. Now we have solved the issue and there are no other issues involved. Last thing, actually we did everything. I wanted to show you about the navbar. Because I created the navbar in a way that after I relooked at the code, I thought, okay, maybe I should have done it in a different way. We have a nav of ID navigation and 4A inside, and I displayed flex and used flex grow here. This isn't correct, it's correct, but we can achieve the same result with more control using justify content. And so I tell you now, actually I want to do it in the DOM. As you can see, we have many possibilities with justify content center, and flex start, which are the same as end and start since tomorrow, but for now it can go. Left, normal, right, and then there are 3 different possibilities that are really similar with each other. Space around, which is what we have saw, because flex grow has made the same result in a different from a different path. Then space between, which is different. You can see the difference. I don't need to explain it, and it's not correct from a design point of view. And then there is space evenly, which is the difference between space around and space evenly, that this space is half of this. And in space evenly, this space is the same of this. In my opinion, is better space around from a design point of view. So actually, the design is exactly as before, but I wanted to show you that I actually missed a possibility, because right now is better to be written. And that's it. We have finished our little project. This was the first one, and we will keep moving on with other projects in this series.